Are you a people pleaser? Do you secretly long for validation from others more than you want it from yourself? Well, today's video is all about why people pleasing really isn't good for you if you are trying to consciously create your life. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit more about why that is, so make sure you keep watching. Hi guys, it's Jen. Welcome back to my channel. I am a life coach and law of attraction teacher, and you have found my YouTube channel where I upload 2 new videos for you guys each and every week, all about the art of creating your best life ever. So if you want to make sure that you are along with me on this journey of self-discovery and improvement, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So today I want to talk a little bit about people pleasing and why people pleasing is so not good for you. So I think as a culture, I think as a society, people pleasing is an epidemic. I think so many of us live our lives thinking so much and worrying so much about what other people think and what other people feel we should do with our lives. And that is such a dangerous line of thinking. And I want to dive a little more into that today and tell you why, if you are a people pleaser, why that isn't good for your manifesting, and it's probably not the reason that you're thinking of right away. So anytime that we need something in the external world to make us feel better inside, we are setting ourselves up for a failure, right? So this can happen with needing validation from somebody. It can happen with needing a specific person to like you and date you. This can happen with needing the latest it bag or whatever it is. All of these things that are outside of you are ultimately just props for your ego. You are using them as an excuse to feel better about yourself. But if you take that thing away, if the dream guy goes away, if the dream girl goes away, you're going to end up back feeling pretty crappy about yourself, right? Because you never really felt good about yourself. You allowed yourself to feel good because that thing was there, but you didn't do the work to go in and fix why you didn't feel worthy and deserving all on your own. Because newsflash, you guys are all worthy and deserving all on your own. So people pleasing is a problem, I think, especially for women. We are taught as little girls that we should be nice and share our toys and say please and thank you and obey the rules and color within the lines, basically. We're not encouraged to think big. We're not encouraged to take up space. We're not encouraged to go after life in a real, tangible way that we need to do actually as adults. When you are little, you want to make your parents happy, and then this becomes this race through the rest of your life. You're trying to make your teacher happy, then you're trying to make your partner happy. And it can be very disconcerting to wake up one day and realize that you have lived a lot of your life trying to make the people around you approve of you instead of figuring out what you need to do to approve of yourself. So the way this comes back to manifesting is that you are in your most magnetic power when you are being authentic to yourself. So this is an invisible problem that many manifestors come into, because you're trying to manifest the guy, you're trying to manifest the car, you're trying to manifest something, but ultimately you don't really connect with those things. You don't really want those things. These are just the things you think you need to do because your parents have told you so, or you watch TV and that's what they're doing on TV, or that's because what all your friends are doing. We can inherit these desires from the world around us that aren't actually in our best interests. And I mean, it's not to say that you're doing life wrong if you go down one of these paths that you've messed up and you're never going to be happy again. That is not what I mean at all. We all make mistakes, quote unquote, but they're actually just learning experiences. But if you keep pursuing things and they keep either not working out or not lifting you up, it might be time to dive in and figure out if you are actually on the right path for you, or if you're just going down a path because you think that's what you're supposed to do. Because if you're going down the path that you think you're supposed to, and it's not actually lighting you up, you are not going to be in your true, authentic, magnetic power. It is not possible. If you care more about pleasing someone else rather than you do about what is real and what is true for you, you are not going to be magnetic. And I know maybe this sounds a little harsh, and I hope that you guys are taking this the right way. Sometimes we need this sort of tough love, right? We need to be snapped back into who we really are and what we're supposed to do with our life. When you're a successful manifestor, when you're living life in abundant flow, when things are lining up for you and opportunities are appearing and synchronicities are happening and you're in that wonderful magnetic zone that we all want to be in, you are in your authentic power. Your soul is speaking to the universe and the universe is responding. So if you are finding problems getting into that place, if you cannot seem to get there, if things always seem like a struggle, it could be because you aren't really being authentic, right? You are still caring more about what you think people want for you in your life than you are about yourself. So there are billions of humans on the planet, and we are not all meant to live carbon copy lives. We're not all meant to live the same life, you guys, but so many of us in Western culture still have the exact same life goals. We are supposed to graduate from high school, go to university, get a job, get married, have 2.5 kids and move to the suburbs. Like, that is like the formula for happiness. That's the American dream. That's what we are supposed to do. And this has been shown to us over and over and over again for so much of our life. You might have internalized this way life should be so much that you don't even think about it. And when you don't question it and you don't think about it consciously, that's when it becomes dangerous. That's when it pulls us away from what might actually be important to us. That's what makes us live in this sort of unconscious, life on default, taking things as they come, way of living. And that is not who you're supposed to be. And that is not what you are supposed to do with your life. So I can't come on here and tell you exactly what is right for you, what your path is going to be, who you are supposed to be in the world, what kind of difference you are supposed to make. I can't tell you that. You are the only person that can tell you that. Your parents can't tell you that, your friends can't tell you that, your teachers can't tell you that, the people on TV can't tell you that. This is your journey. Your journey. And if you are still more concerned about people pleasing, if you're still more concerned about validation, if you're still so concerned about getting like a gold star or a pat on the back for whatever it is you're doing, you aren't doing it for the right reason. So I'm not going to lie, being authentic and true to who you are, it takes guts. Like, sometimes you have to stand up and say, hey, I'm a weirdo, when you have spent your whole entire life trying not to be a weirdo and trying to fit in. So it can be scary to put yourself out there. It can be scary to admit what you really want. It can be scary to color outside of the lines and not to do the prescribed thing, right? Because maybe your parents are going to worry about you. Maybe your friends will think you're crazy. Maybe whatever. But in the end, the power of you being authentic and true to what you really want is so much more gratifying than trying to fit the formula of what you should be for someone else. I know it can be so hard to shake off those expectations. I know it can be so hard to not try to make people around you happy. I totally understand that. And I know that this next statement kind of scares some people, but it's also truth, and it's also liberation if you listen to it the right way. But we are all born alone, and we all die alone. And I don't mean we die without anyone else in the room. What I mean is that we make the passage from one experience to the next by ourselves. So at the end of this life, at the end of this video game round, when you are returning back to whatever you think is happening, you are going alone. So you better make sure that this game that you just played, that this existence as a human, was for you. Not your parents, not your husband, not your wife, not your best friend. For you. So I want to know what makes you happy, what lights you up, what makes you feel connected and in your power. And if you don't know what that is right now, it's okay, because if you've lived your life as a people pleaser, if you have been going for this American dream and not thinking about what you really want, you probably don't know what you really want right now. And I also want you to know that that's totally okay. I've totally been there. The desire is something you need to start listening to, like your intuition. So the path of figuring out your process is just trusting and exploring what looks good to you, like exploring where you want to say yes in your life. And maybe you don't see the entire pathway, right? Maybe you only see the next step. So you say yes to someone inviting you out to yoga class or something, and then at yoga class you meet somebody and whatever. Like life happens in a crazy complex way. But the way that we get there is by saying yes and taking the steps, right? So that can lead you to where you're supposed to go. So it is okay if you don't know what your big purpose is. It is okay if you haven't got it all figured out. Most of us haven't got it all figured out. We're just working towards what we think we want, and what we actually want might change along the way. And that's totally okay. It doesn't serve anyone to take their desires into account more than yours. In the end, everyone in your life wants you to be happy. Everyone in your life wants to see you thrive. And they may have opinions, they may have expectations, they may have things that they tell you you should do. But those are all ultimately coming from a place of love, right? They're coming from a place of love, but they're also coming from a place of limited experience, limited knowledge. Because no one in your life will ever know you as much as you know yourself. So you have to trust in that. You cannot trust someone else's idea for your life more than your own. And if you're doing that, it's time to come back. It's time to come back and get to know yourself. It's time to figure out where you are really meant to be. And like I said, the bonus of that is when you are in your true power, when you are doing what you're supposed to do, when you are showing up as the authentic version of you, the authentic and imperfect version of you, you are going to have so much more manifesting success than if you are trying to be perfect for someone else, because we can never be perfect and we can never please anyone else. And we need to stop putting anyone else's opinions and expectations above our own. As soon as you slip into people pleasing, you have slipped out of your authentic power. And that means your manifesting skills are going to be minimal at best. So if you're into manifesting, or if you're just into creating a happy life in general, I really hope you take this one to heart. Sometimes we all become people pleasers. Sometimes we all put someone else's needs above our own. But I just want you to remember how important this is, to keep coming back to what is true and right for you, because in the end, that is the most important thing. And I don't mean we need to stop caring about what's happening with anyone else, but your job is to make you happy. And you being happy helps make the world happy. And if we are all happy together, the world will be such a better place. So think about it that way too if you want. Think about the big picture, because really your authenticity and your desires truly matter. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know that was a little bit of a strange one today maybe, but I really hope that this message resonates with you. And if you needed to hear it, then I hope you take action and keep coming back to your authentic power instead of worrying about what everyone else is doing. Because in the end, none of that matters as much as you doing you. If you like this video, please do me a favor and give it a like. And if you know somebody that needs to hear this message, please do me another favor and pass it along to them. I would love to expand this community of conscious creators, and one of the best ways that I can do that is by you guys helping me out. Thank you guys again for being here today. I'll be back here soon in another video. So until then, I'm wishing you the most amazing week ever. And just remember, get ready for the miracle.